The talk of the NFL this season has been Miami quarterback Tua and this offense, putting up monster numbers through the first 6 games of the year. Now, one thing a lot of people haven't realized is how much one of my favorite things in the world, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, has helped the Miami Dolphins quarterback. Tua in the offseason took BJJ classes to learn how to properly brace himself from hitting his head on the ground. If you go back and you watch all the concussions that Tua suffered last season, 3 of them, which almost led to the Miami quarterback potentially retiring, you'll notice that all 3 have a common theme. It's not helmet-to-helmet hits. It's him just not learning how to properly brace himself. So today we're here at Syndicate MMA, where Coach Jerry Shapiro, the head of the Jiu-Jitsu program at Syndicate, is gonna show us exactly how Tua and BJJ together has saved the Miami Dolphins franchise. Bro, I think I crushed that.
I was thinking the same thing.
Is the camera still going?
We're still going.
Let's go. I crushed that shit, baby. Let's go, man. Let's get it.
Yeah. Okay, now I've been. Yeah. I've been sharing a feast. I got receipts. I put it down like I'm stuck in the lease. Had to compete, couldn't retreat. Guess they forgetting that I've been a beast. Listen, I saw the way homies are moving, and truly I'm thinking they got it from me.
So here I am with my head coach, Jerry Shapiro, the head jiu-jitsu coach at Syndicate MMA, a 3rd-degree black belt. Actually, Jerry, you tell the people exactly why you're credentialed for this.
I've been training almost 18 years, about similar amount of time competing. I've been coaching for a long time. I'm the head coach over here at Syndicate MMA. I run the kids classes from ages 4 up to the adults classes, unlimited age obviously. And I just had a lot of experience, is what I spent my whole life doing. And I start off with the 4-year-olds with similar positions and things like this, learning how to fall properly, learning how to get up, learning how to prevent unnecessary injuries when we're on the mat, knowing how to do a lot of this stuff that I feel like a lot of professional athletes should be learning. So got a little experience with this.
So Jerry has been on my show, Veterans Minimum, and everyone that listens to my show or knows anything about me knows that jiu-jitsu and football are a big part of my life. So to see both of them come together has been pretty interesting, especially as a stud Sunday football quarterback myself, I always wanted to see how the 2 would come together. And Tua this year credited Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to being a big reason for his success and why he's having success. And one of the main reasons why is the Miami Dolphins coming into this year, Jerry, were one of the most volatile teams in the league. They had Super Bowl aspirations, but if he got hurt, which he did last year, then they could have been a team that could have the top pick in the draft. So there was no team that had more of a wide range of outcomes than Miami, and it all had to do with Tua. Tua last year and the Dolphins were 8-3, and then he started getting these concussions. And what I found interesting and what you found interesting was all of them could have been avoided, which is why he started training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in the offseason. Now what we're gonna do, Jerry's gonna show you how you should properly fall and how Tua and Jiu-Jitsu has helped him avoid some of these concussions that he took last year. Because a lot of people hear concussions, Jerry, and they think it's helmet-to-helmet hits. And none of them were helmet-to-helmet hits. They're all just him not being able to brace himself. And Jerry's gonna show us just how it is you should fall to the ground and prevent your head from slamming.
That shit they can't explain. I've been living way too good for them to be dancing on my grave. Yeah, they know that. And I know things ain't the same, but I had to focus on me for a change. Everything gon' be okay. Everything gon' be alright, man. Everything can't go my way. I control the shit I can't, so I complain. That's the game. No more Tatiana shit.
Is it possible for someone to learn how to fall within 2-3 months of training once a week, which was what Tua was doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I start off, this is one of the basic fundamental movements that I show kids who are starting out at 4 or 5 years old, and in 2 or 3 months they have it down. So a professional athlete that's an adult and at his caliber, absolutely, within that time for sure, and then putting it into, his application of being on the field, he's 100%. I think it's possible. And I think he's showing it, right? He's doing a lot better job doing it.
Yeah, and they're off to a flying start through the first third of the year. They're offense is unbelievable, and a lot of it has to do with him. So let's show you guys exactly what we're talking about. So Jerry, first and foremost, I want you to show them how you should just properly fall, just in general. Show people how to like take a flat back or something.
All right, so yeah, when we go to fall, like if we're getting taken down or we're getting thrown or we're getting slammed, and there's nothing, right? Because what we do have to factor in is them carrying a football, right? So it's good that if he does fall in one of these directions and the ball hits the ground and it pops out, it wouldn't be a fumble regardless, but we definitely have to factor that in. A lot of the falls that I saw that seemed to give him the worst concussions, he got rid of the ball already, so there was nothing in his hands. But what he'd want to do is, and I show this to the kids, we're in, we touch our knees, we get as low as we can to start off in practice. I'm going to hit my butt to the mat, and as soon as my lower back hits, I'm going to slap the mat. So I'm basically thinking about, instead of me falling backward the way Tua did, and letting all that energy snap his head back, and the back of his head hit the ground, I want to think about redispersing that energy outward. So instead of it going to my head, I'm going to slap the mat, and it's going to go outward. So I'm going to start off, we go, and I slap the mat. And I'm continuing to look forward, so my chin's tucked, I don't get any whiplash, my head doesn't hit the ground. And once we get down with that, right, we get that down, we can start falling harder and harder, and it doesn't matter. And I can kind of have the same results where my head isn't snapping back, and I can protect my neck and head. So that's the very basic, going backwards, nothing in our hands. They would fall, slap the mat, continue to try as much as they can, stay in a crunch position, and protect our head and neck.
And now the interesting thing about all these is all of Tua's concussions didn't happen from, if I'm the quarterback, Jerry drives his helmet into my helmet and knocks me out. All of them have been me letting go of the football, and literally the guy just shoves me and Tua hits his head on the ground. That was one of the concussions. The other concussion was basically like a takedown that we've done in the past, where the guy got behind Tua and then just brought him to the ground and slammed his head. Now, you saw how Jerry braced himself. That's what you would recommend Tua to do, or anyone falling in that situation.
Exactly. So what we just looked at first was us going backwards. If I do happen to get taken down on my side, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fall off, and I'm going to slap the mat, heads up. I'm trying to not let my neck follow and kind of whiplash myself. But it's all going to be the same thing in a couple months of a professional athlete at his caliber doing it. It's definitely doable, and anyone that's on that field, it should be practicing like that. Some of those concussions, like Nick said, were complete. Like, it's almost like he did it to himself. I tell the kids, like, they've got push-ups or burpees. There's some sort of consequence if they let their head touch the mat. So when they do these, even as slow as possible, their head goes up. They got, they understand there's consequence to that. They got to keep their chin tucked. Very, very basic stuff to learn, and easy to do.
Now, the last one that I want to show, and I would love for you to show exactly how you would recommend him falling when he falls in the opposite direction. So one of the concussions that he suffered, he lets go of the football, and the guy sort of tangles him at the ankles, and he rotates the other way and falls backwards. So he kind of does like a whole 180 when he lands. How should he have fallen?
And he could have potentially gone forward.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that it would go right into like us being able to forward roll or backward roll and go over our shoulders, still protecting our head. But instead of me going backwards and risking, maybe someone's underneath me, we also got to factor in there's other people on the field and there's other obstacles that might be in our way. But if I'm getting taken down the way, do it to me. He starts going this way. I'd want to fall, protect myself, and be able to roll over my shoulder. They got shoulder pads that they can bring up to their helmet to give a little bit of brace in their neck and protect themselves a little bit more, and they kind of got to utilize that. But rolling over their shoulder and being prepared to fall properly in that manner, almost a little bit easier than having to fall backwards, or the first two we did.
And the craziest thing about the NFL is, especially the quarterbacks, all week at practice, they don't get hit. They actually wear something similar to you, like these red pennies at practice, so that no one touches them. If you do happen to get by the quarterback, it's kind of like two-hand touch, and the play ends at practice. So all these quarterbacks, when they step on the field on Sunday, Jerry, they get absolutely smoked at 100 miles per hour. So their bodies aren't accustomed to getting hit like that, where everyone else on the field is getting hit week after week, day after day. For the quarterback, it's a complete surprise. And the most fascinating thing about it is the quarterback is the most valuable position in all of American sports, and they're getting paid nowadays. And Tua is slated to be a free agent at the end of this season, and he could potentially sign for $250 million. So Jiu-Jitsu might help him, the franchise, and his pockets by him being able to stay on the field. So the Miami Dolphins and the Dolphins fans should be thankful for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and so should Tua.
Everything can't go my way. I control the shit I can't, so I complain. That's the game. No more got the honest shit. Shoot my shot, I hardly miss. Shout out Target for the fit.